What's up guys, welcome back to a new video. It is Sunday and it is time for meal prep. I'm gonna show you guys everything that I meal prep for the entire weekday. So let's get started. All right guys, so when it comes to meal prep, I like to kind of get things kind of prepped and ready to go before I start cooking. So I'm gonna show you everything that I do to kind of get those things prepped. All right, so as you could see on my counter, I have a bunch of glass Tupperware containers. And the reason being is because right here, these are the containers that I use for lunch, and these are the containers that I use for breakfast. For work, I actually go into the office pretty often, almost every day. So I like to kind of have my lunch prepped, ready to go, where I could just take it out of the fridge quickly in the morning. Eli, on the other hand, he works from home. So for his breakfast and lunches, I put them in larger Tupperware containers, and so that he could just heat it up. And it's all packed in bulk, so he can heat it up when it's time for him to eat lunch or breakfast during the day. So that is the prep for the containers. Let me show you the prep that I do for all the food items. Also, one thing I like to mention is that I already have rice that is cooking right now, and the reason why I have this cooking earlier is because I like to give it a little bit of time to cool down in the Tupperware containers. So we already got that cooking. And for the rice, typically we have rice for lunches only. All right, guys, so we're gonna start off with breakfast first. So here are all the ingredients that I'm gonna need for breakfast. We have some minced garlic right here, some tomatoes, some green onions. I got some lean protein. This is grass-fed ground beef. That's 93% lean and 7% fat. We got some pasture-raised eggs here. We got some onions. I got some carrots that are thinly sliced. And then we got some cabbage right here. So let's get started. So our wok is pretty preheated. And now I'm gonna be adding in some avocado oil to it. So I'm just gonna do a little drizzle of avocado oil, and it's gonna get hot pretty fast since the wok is already hot. So I'll just let that sit for a little bit longer. My heat right now, I've lowered it. It was at a medium high, now it's at like a low medium. All right, so that is looking pretty good. So now I'm gonna add in some garlic. I add in a pretty good amount of garlic. So I love using garlic. So we're gonna add in, that looks pretty good. And now I'm gonna use my little wok handle here and kind of mix it up a little. Get all the aromatics into the pan. So I'm gonna saute that until it's kind of nice and brown. You see a little bit of a browning in there. All right, so now you kind of see a browning happening with the garlic. So now I'm gonna add in some onions. Amount of onions in there. Just kind of mix that all in. All right, after we sauteed the onions, I'm gonna add in our meat. And I'm gonna kind of mix that up like that. And at this point, I'm also gonna kind of increase my heat to a medium. All right guys, once the meat is cooked, I'm going to add in my carrots. And for my carrots, I like to use a pretty hefty amount of carrots, so I'm gonna add those in. And then I'm gonna mix those in the beef and let that cook. Alright guys, once that is added in, it's not fully cooked yet, but I mixed it pretty well in there. And now I'm going to also add in my cabbage. So I put a good amount of cabbage in there. Alright guys, so while that's cooking, I also like to add just a little bit of low sodium soy sauce and just put a little dash of that in there, and then put a little bit of oyster sauce in there to give it a little flavor. So just a little dash of that as well. Alright, I think that should be good. And then I'm gonna mix that all up. And I actually don't add in any like salt, pepper, seasoning or anything. I just want a little bit of flavor to kind of enhance the meal, but I don't want to put too much seasoning. Alright guys, so while that is cooking up, I actually have another cast iron pan here heating up. And I'm gonna preheat this for a little bit. I already put some oil in there. And I'm going to cook in 4 eggs into there. Alright guys, so I have scrambled up 4 eggs into this bowl, and now I'm going to transfer it over to this cast iron pan. Just like that. And for this one, I don't want to necessarily make an omelet. I'm just gonna kind of crush up these eggs so that I could add them into the stir fry. So that's the difference between Eli and mine's breakfast, is that for mine, I just like to incorporate my egg into my cabbage stir fry. And for Eli's, he just likes to have like an egg on the side. So there we go. Alright guys, this is what it's looking like. That looks good to go. And now I'm going to transfer this over to the cabbage bowl. Alright guys, this is the finished product. One thing, if you did notice, I didn't add the tomatoes, and the reason why is because of the acidity of it will kind of ruin my wok, so I didn't want to add that in. But I'm going to add that in once I add this meal to my glass Tupperware containers. And then I'm also going to add in and garnish it with some green onions as well. So I'm going to transfer those over right now. Okay guys, so for the lunch, I accidentally forgot to like hit record, so I only have like a snippet of the lunch. So I'm gonna insert all the items that I use to make the lunch. So basically, I have a salmon and I have a chicken, and the bok choy is the veggies. So you can see all the ingredients for the marinades inserted on the screen. I'm going to apply some sesame oil into there and let that heat up. It looks like my pan is already heated up. And then I'm going to add in some garlic, some minced garlic. All All right, so we're gonna let that cook in there. I think I'm gonna add in a little bit more sesame oil. There we go. So we'll let that cook. All right, and we're not gonna get it to where it's browning. This is actually perfect right there. And now we're gonna add in the bok choy. So I'm going to turn my heat up to a high, and we are just going to cook this in. So with bok choy, it might seem like it's like taking over the whole pan, but it actually, the size of it actually gets a lot smaller once you cook it. So cooking that in, as you can see, it's getting a lot more smaller, more manageable on the pan. So now, since it's kind of decreased in size by half, I'm going to lower the heat here, and I'm going to add in a little bit of soy sauce. And just let that cook in there. Alright, and that looks pretty good for me. So now I'm gonna transfer these over to the Tupperwares. Alright guys, in that same pan, I didn't even wash, or in the same wok, I didn't even wash the wok. I just drained out the excess liquid in there. And I'm gonna add in a little bit of avocado oil in there now. And now we are going to cook the chicken. So let's get this going. Go ahead and add that now.